There's a lot of old hippies up there that are super cheering us on because, you know, collectives don't work, right? So we're like 10 years old at this point, so people are like rooting us on. And we also go to the School of the Americas protest in Fort Benning, Georgia, that happens every year, and that's an example of us being like super out there with at a connection point with thousands of people from all over the place who can take the posters and spread them like seeds. And so in that way, we've been able to distribute over 70,000 posters by hand over the years and get to be very connected with our audience and get to evolve alongside the posters by way of what people think about them and what they think we should do next and all that stuff. So we'll be outside screaming at the top of our lungs, or we might be inside at different classrooms, and this is the backbone of our fundraising comes from student groups bringing us to their college and helping make donations that way. Okay, so one of the bees has been on this big adventure for the past 2 years, running around Colombia and Ecuador and Venezuela, getting as many as possible Colombia posters back to the people whose story it is. And he's been involving all these different workshops, mostly talking to Afro-Colombian and indigenous communities all throughout the region, having them see their story within the graphic and sort of decode the thing, getting kids to focus on particular stories in the graphic, and then getting them to draw their own version, and then teaching them how to silkscreen. He was working with a lot of street kids, and then make their own cute little fashion. Oh, come on.
That is so cute. Come on, guys. Aww.
All right. I won too. So that's it. That's the story of our evolution of our group. But we're about to segue into talking about this graphic in particular. So if anybody wants to ask about process or the sort of Beehive real world things that you might be curious about, you can do it now or you can jump in later. We're going to make you talk more at this point. I've just been throwing a bunch of stuff at you.
So we also do a lot of smaller graphics, commission works that are made specifically for folks to use on their pamphlets and flyers and things like that. We made this one for our friends in the group Rising Tide. We call it the Carcade. It's to remind us that burning more fossil fuels means more carbon in the atmosphere, means more climate chaos, right? And recently we decided to focus specifically on issues around climate change because, talk about a big picture issue that's connected to everything.
Not
right?
a real focus.
Yeah, right, yeah. There over the years there have been a lot of requests to do a poster about mountaintop removal. And in spring of 2008, 10 bees traveled down to the southern Appalachian coalfield region. The area where mountaintop removal is happening is primarily West Virginia, Kentucky, and East Tennessee. Folks spent 2 months traveling through there, talking with all sorts of different folks. This is the short list of really great collaborating groups that helped us to understand the issues, helped connect us with folks who could give us more information, share stories with us, hosted us throughout our time there. Hold on.
Sorry.
And actually, even beyond that, we've been staying in touch with these folks, and we're working on a print run collaboration. So when we're finally ready to go to print, we're going to get 10,000 posters printed. And folks are really interested in pitching in a little bit of money to buy a big stack of posters at just above cost to help us get the initial funds to get those 10,000 printed, and then we'll send them off to them. And right away, as soon as they're hot off the presses, all these different folks will be distributing them all over through their networks, and we're really excited about that. So we talked with folks like Kentuckians for the Commonwealth, this really great land rights group that's been doing a lot to fight mountaintop removal in Kentucky, and we talked with Coal River Mountain Watch, folks that have been in the news a lot lately with Climate Ground Zero. They've been doing a lot of direct action to slow down the mining in the Coal River area. and we went to see the mine sites themselves. And while we were on the trip, we started doing sketches already to show to folks, make sure we were going in the right direction, and we brought all of these sketches and all of these stories back to our studios in Maine, and we spent hours and days and weeks and months arguing over them.
Collaborating.
Also known as collaborating. Yeah.
Which we have really weird arguments, so you're welcome to imagine at any point when we're talking about something kind of bizarre in the poster, like the very bizarre conversation that we had to come up with that.
Like, for example, what decade does this federal soldier hat on this bull come from to be appropriate, right?
It takes a lot of
We
mind
searched
today.
through dozens and dozens of photos of hats to get it right. Anyway, so then we continued to draw more and more sketches, continuously refining the thing. And we printed up this work in progress banner to take back to the folks who had given us the stories to make sure we got them right, and to take to folks who may have never even heard of mountaintop removal to make sure that the stories we were trying to tell made sense and were legible. And we collected lots of feedback and kept doing more drafts, and this is the third rough draft version right here.
That's why it's hard to look at right now. You can't really see what's going on because this is still like sketchy and line work, and it doesn't have all the ink on it yet.
Yeah. So the way this works, it also has a folding mechanism. Are y'all familiar with Mad Magazine? With that fold in on the back, right? You get two pictures out of one. So when this poster starts folded up, it shows an intact mountain valley with clean streams running through it and lots of native critters kind of hanging out. And when it's opened up, this huge mine site in the middle, you see very dynamically how that mine site tears the mountain apart. And just a quick little explanation to help you understand as we go through it. All the characters and stories and scenes in the foreground are the effects that are happening in Appalachia. They're direct translations of stories that people on the ground told us about. And up near the top there are these bigger picture things, sort of this power analysis, these looking at where the coal is going, and globalization and things like that. And it also is roughly divided up into a series of 5 chapters that go chronologically. The first chapter on the far left is about stories of the land. It's about the formation of the mountains, formation of the coal, stories about the people who lived there before industrial scale coal mining. And chapter 2 is about colonization and the Industrial Revolution and all of the huge changes that happened as a result. The big double-wide chapter 3, this huge section in the middle, is all about mountaintop removal. And you want to go to the next one? It's all about mountaintop removal, how it works, why it's happening, where the coal is going, what kind of effects it's having. And chapter 4 is all about different ways that people are resisting, trying to get mountaintop removal slowed down and abolished. Chapter 5 is a very forward-looking chapter about ways that people are working to regenerate, to build alternatives, to heal and clean the soil and the water, and to rebuild and strengthen their communities. And so we've been trying all sorts of different ways of telling this story. On this tour, we're trying something a little bit different. We're starting in the middle, focusing on mountaintop removal, because we've been talking a lot with folks who aren't very familiar with it. So we're going to go through all the basics on what that is first, and then we're slowly going to work our way outward, bringing in historical context and these bigger picture things to broaden the scope as we go.
Now it's my turn! Yay, good job, Tyler. So, hello everyone. Before we get into it, we're going to give you a quick rundown of exactly how all this works. Who knows about mountaintop removal? Good chunk of people. Okay, cool. I didn't know about it until I joined this project, so don't feel bad if you don't know about it. Who knows someone who's worked on a campaign or knows someone who's been directly affected by mountaintop removal? Okay, cool. Well, I'm just going to get a real quick run through so those who don't know what's going on. All right, first we have to understand why the Appalachian coalfields region is so important. The Appalachian Mountains are some of the most biodiverse is one of the most biodiverse ecosystems in the world. And the mountains themselves are the oldest mountains in the world.